Hey guys, Lisa from Hello Happy here, and today I'm going to teach you how I made this slightly practical, slightly impractical crochet bookmark. You ever have one of those ideas that you think up in your head and it just won't go away until you make the damn thing, and you don't know if it's going to work, but you have to make the thing and see if it works? This is one of those things. It just wouldn't go away, so I had to try making it. This isn't going to be a super in-depth, show you every detail sort of tutorial. I'm just going to give you kind of the basics and you can do with it what you will. Alright, so let's go over supplies. You're going to need an embroidery floss, a 2mm hook, some kind of white PVC glue, which can be Mod Podge, Elmer's, Aleene's Craft Tack, like anything that basically comes out white and dries clear. And then you're also going to need some thread and a needle, and you're going to need some sort of cardstock or thin cardboard. Alright, so to make a flower, you want to make a magic ring of 6 single crochet, and then you want to slip stitch to that first single crochet, pull your ring tight, and then to make a petal, you do, let's see, what did I write down here? It says slip stitch, so that slip stitch that you just did counts as your first slip stitch. Then you want to chain 3, then you want to do a treble stitch, then you want to chain 3, and then you want to slip stitch into that same stitch, and that makes one petal. So to make the next petal, slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 3, treble stitch, chain 3, and then slip stitch into that same stitch. So make 6 of those petals, and then finish off with a slip stitch into that first stitch, or kind of wherever it looks good. You know what I mean? You're working with little teeny tiny floss, so just do your final slip stitch wherever makes sense, and then finish off. The next step is to figure out how many flowers you want to have on your bookmark shape, and then sew like the tops of the petals together. Obviously I did 3, you can see that, but the amount you do is really your choice, so play around with it, have some fun, and attach them together. I didn't take any photos for the next part because I'm a fool, but what you want to do now is grab some scrap paper, piece of junk mail, whatever, squirt out like a blob of glue, grab a paintbrush, and just dab some of the glue on top of the flowers. Wait for that to dry, and then flip it over and glue the back, and that'll just harden the flowers and make them much more stable. Of course, you need to secure and weave away your ends before you do the gluing. Should have mentioned that first, but I didn't, and I'm not going to re-record this, so do that first, then glue them. And this photo was my first attempt. This was just a random piece of thin cardboard we had laying around in the recycling bin. So I punched holes along the top using a push pin, and then I did like a blanket stitch across it while picking up the edges of the flowers while I sewed it. And honestly, this is fine, but obviously the white color of the cardboard with the white flowers is not very appealing or eye-catching or joy-inducing, so I decided to try another method, which you've already seen in this video, and that's this one, and I think that's a pretty good kind of middle ground. Honestly, I think if I were to choose the perfect way of doing it, I would maybe paint the cardboard or the cardstock to like a, pink or a blue or something like that, instead of using felt, because the felt just makes the thing thicker, which makes it less, I don't know, visually pleasing when it's like in your book because it's so chonky. But I'm sure a lot of people won't mind that either, so really it comes down to personal preference. So really all you need to do is just put your cardboard on some felt, cut out the felt around the cardboard, and then sew it together. So for like the easiest way of sewing the felt together, I recommend you kind of sew 2 of the sides together first and then insert the cardboard and stick the flowers on top. And I highly recommend using like sewing clips to hold the flowers on so they don't move around, and it just makes it so much easier to sew everything together. And when you're done, you have this cute, somewhat usable bookmark. I don't know. Honestly, it's really silly that I even wanted to make this because I read ebooks on my Kindle using Libby. with my library card. Like, I don't even read physical books anymore. This is a random one I got out of one of those like little free libraries in somebody's front yard. That sounded vaguely interesting. But like, seriously, aside from like this, like I don't read physical books anymore. So why did I want to make this bookmark so badly? I don't know. I cannot tell you. But I had the idea. It wouldn't get out of my head, so I made it. And I've now produced for you a really bare bones tutorial on how you also can make this somewhat impractical bookmark. So, hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, well, too bad. Okay, bye.